Hello and welcome to today's Smart Money episode where we're going to dive into an exciting world of travelers insurance. Its code is TRV and why it has been a major focus lately. Now we are going to talk about the market actions that's happening on October 17, 2024 just recently. So let's get started. So here's the big news. If you've been following the market lately, you know that the US stock market had a fantastic day on the October 17th, and traveler insurance was right at the center of this. And Dow Jones had hit the brand new high. Well, the catalyst? Well, of course, it's the stellar earning reports from these travelers. And here's what happened. Travelers reported an earning per share, the EPS, of $5.24, way ahead of analysts' expectations of just $3.79. And as for the revenue, they posted $11.9 billion, beating the forecast of $11.46 billion. Therefore, on that day, the stock opened at $242.97 and it had finished strong at around $264.86, and that's about 9.01% jump just in a single trading sessions. But what's driving of this surge? Now let's break it down together. Now let's take a look at its fundamental data, because this is where we can see why these travelers is performing so well. Now take a look at this table. Well, let's look at its PE ratio. Well, for the travelers, the PE ratio is at 15.50, meaning to say that the price to earning ratio is almost in line with its industry average, which is 15.34, but you can see that, well, it's significantly below the S&P 500, which is 20.24. And well, this actually suggests that the stock is kind of still a value play compared to the broader markets. Now let's refer to the price to cash flow over here. Now for the travelers, the price to cash flow ratio is 6.04, and this is much lower than the industry average of 13.39, and also that's way below the market, the S&P 500 of 15.50. Well, for this data, this implies that the stock is potentially undervalued based on its cash flow, and I would say that this could be a great signal for a long-term investors. Now, what about its year-to-date price change? Well, I would say that for travelers right now has gained about 39.02% year-to-date, and this is definitely looks a very alpha compared to its peers, its industry, which is about 27.58%, and it's also a very strong alpha compared to the market, the S&P 500, which is year to date is about 22.47%. So I would say that these travelers is really on fire. Now let's take a look on its technical analysis. Now let's take a look at this traveler chart. Well, at one glance seems like it's really uptrending, and let's take a look at its last trading days. Right now it's currently trading at $265.45, and for this stock it's currently sitting at its highest level, at least in the last 200 days or in the last 50 trading days. So I would say that the stock currently really at its peak for both short and long-term time frames. So this is kind of signaling a very strong momentum. And another way to understand about its momentum by drawing its trend channel. By the way, I draw two trend channels here. This is the first one, the first trend channel, the first uptrending, and the second one even stronger uptrend here. Well, this is the second channel. So if you see that for the second channel recently there's a very strong momentum and it breaks above the first channel. Now let me show you very interesting part here happenings on the, I would say, 17th of October. Originally, I would say that if you look at these two dots here, it's kind of it represents the resistance for the first channel, all right, somewhere around $240, and this traveler successfully break above and crosses above the resistance, and it's trying to test the first resistance on the second channel here at a price of 257 or 260, around that range. And usually coming with the very strong momentum, the behavior would be go for testing the second resistance, which is somewhere around this area. And I would say that this would range, if you refer to the right, it's probably around $280 to $295, around this area. So it's the next thing we like to evaluate, whether or not that it has a possibility to test further gain somewhere around this price range. So let's analyze further using a moving average to understand what kind of momentum it's experiencing right now. So if we set the 20 days moving average represented by the purple color. Well, I would say that the stock here is very well above this short-term indicator. Take a look at the price here, and the indicator, the 20 days moving average, it starts a wide gap, and this indicates that the momentum is very, very, very powerful. So because of the gap is very wide, so usually we either see a pullback very soon, or we probably looking for a consolidations, and we also would like to understand where it's going to be consolidating at. Now let's plug in the midterm of 50 days moving average. Well, this is the midterm, the medium term, and it's showing that, well, currently for this stock, right, is the midterm is also uptrending because it's above the 50-day moving average, and since that the 20 days also above, together with the price above this 50-day moving average, so I kind of can confirm the strength of the momentum. And also that because the momentum is very, very strong, then usually if you refer back to its historical price, I would say that usually the 50-day moving average try to catch with the 20-day moving average. Let me show you on its historical prices. Now this is going to be probably the first one. You see the red color catching up with the purple line, and also here trying to catch the purple line, and this red color catching the 20 days, and also the last part, the last momentum, right, it's the 50 days also tries to catch up with the 20 days moving average. This usually happens when the momentum is kind of really, really strong, and the consolidations usually happens very close to its resistance. So if you take a look at this part, you can take a look also around this part, all right, and then the next one it's around this area. Well, so if our guess was correct, then probably it might consolidate around here as well. I mean, there is a possibility either it's pullback or it consolidate at the second or the next resistance level according to the historical price. Now let's apply for the long-term moving average, the 200 days moving average, so we understand about what is the long-term prospect. Well, I would say that when you refer to its long-term momentum, well, all right, probably starting from here about November 2023, I would say that the stock has been in upward momentum for quite some time, for quite a while, and it can be a sign of a strong and healthy stock, and it also gives a strong confidence for investors at least to hold for a longer time period. So this is something that you can play for a short and a long term as well. Now let's take a look about the movement in the market. I mean, let's look at the smart money right now. Now let me show you the potential smart money opportunity happens on the stock, on the travelers, by using our proprietary system trader GPS. So this is pretty simple kind of things. You click the system and it's going to analyze for you automatically, so you don't really have to think much about the things, right? Now the blue colors represent the momentum, which is positive momentum, and the red color represents negative momentum, means there is a sell-off. And true enough, actually on the 7th of October there was a correction here, so the trader GPS kind of alert you, tell you that there's a sell-off here, right? So if you want to buy, probably that you will hold it for a while because there is a sell-off here. Now let's start by from this 14th of October, because there is this signal which telling you, identifying a potential smart money came into the stocks. And for myself and some of the community, I would say we have been into this stock on 14th of October, and we have right on the profit because the price has jumped since then to a level of $256. So from $238 to here, just about 9 to 10% jump. So this happened within a couple of days. I mean, just about within 4 days to happen. And the question that since it's identifying another, I would say, potential smart money here came in on 17th of October, the price has jumped again, and it coincides with the earning release of the travelers, because it was a good release of the report, so the price jumped so much. And then the following days it also make another gain. So the question that probably, well, where the price will be heading to, will it consolidate around around 280 to 290 range? That is the things that we would like to watch out further. But I just want to emphasize the importance of following the money market, because when we follow money market, that is where the easiest path to follow on the momentum, meaning to say that this easier path to follow the winners. I mean, if thing goes not in our favor, or I would say the risk, most of the time I would say that the risk is kind of manageable. Therefore, for me as a trader, I like to look for the indication of smart money. All right, and so this will provide clues probably on how much more upside or potential risk that you can be exposed as well. Now let's take a look next at the option market, because I would say that this is going to be a great tool if you like to assess the risk and reward potential that you probably expose in this stock. Now let's take a look on its implied volatility charts. The one on the left, the y-axis represents the implied volatility. The x-axis here represents the strike price, and the bottom here just a volume to track down its transactions, the amount of transactions. Now the blue dot represents put options, and the red dot represents the call options here. Well, the first thing first that I would like to draw your attention for the blue dots here, the put options. If you notice that there is a significant drop here, so the significant drop in the implied volatility for put options as the strike price goes higher. So this represents, or this means that the market is not expecting ton of risk at this higher price level. Now when you see at the volume of the call option here, there's a lot of actions here, and this ranging of the, I would say, the price between 270 and 290 here slightly, I would say. Well, so I would say that a lot of traders kind of betting on even more upside potential for these stock travelers. And on the other hand, for the put volume, if you could notice that it's kind of a regular ones, is just a put volume that is normally spread out across various strike prices. But I would say in terms of volume, this is much lower than the call activity, so this indicates that less demand for the downside protections. Now I also like to draw your attention here the implied volatility at the strike price of 260. So this is relatively much lower than the rest, as you can see yourself, because there's a big drop here. So the lower implied volatility for this put option suggests that the market does not see a huge downside risk for the stock, the travelers, in the near term. And that's to say, and we also tried to explain earlier on, that the stock sharp rise and the moving 20 days moving average, the gap. So to explain what's going or potentially to happen is that looking at this looking at the option market here, potentially if there is a pullback, I would say there is a slight pullback might happen, or it's going to continue with the consolidation at the price where perhaps it ranges around its resistance around 270, 280 to $290. Well, I would say that this a heavy interest call between 270 and 280 concentration here, I would say that there will be a clear optimism that these stock travelers really has a room to move higher. But always remember that waiting a possible pullback could present a better entry point for those really would like to look for, would like to take this stock for the entry. So this is kind of the risk reward that you want to consider before you make any entry for in the traveler stocks. So to wrap things up, this stock traveler insurance has been showing a really strong bullish momentum at this point, and both you see the fundamentals and technicals also support this further gains. However, we always want to be cautious because after the sharp rise recently, anything could happen. A slight pullback can happen, a near-term consolidation might happen, or even a big pullback correction can also happen. At all times you have to be cautious, all right? And always you want to keep an eye on this 20-day and 50-day moving average, because this will help traders to manage their risk. And the option market is also showing right now that traders are kind of optimistic with the stock, but balancing the risk and reward here is always the key. And after all, I would say traveler stock is hot right now, but waiting at the right moment to enter could make all the difference here. Well, that's all for today's analysis on the traveler insurance. And if you find this session helpful, probably you like to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification so you will not miss out any opportunity like this in the future. So I would like to say thank you for tuning in. Stay tuned with us and more market insight for you. Until the next time, please trade smart.